Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I just wanted to share some tips that I've picked up along the way in this world of work from home. As many of you already know, I'm an attorney full-time. I work at a very large law firm, and the demands of big law is a beast in and of itself. But when you couple that along with my obligations as a mom, it can be overwhelming at times. So in this world of working from home while being an attorney, while also being a mother and a wife on top of all those things, I have learned how to navigate and maneuver some of these challenges, and I wanted to share 6 things that have really helped me to balance all of those things. So the first tool that's been helpful to me as I navigate working from home as an attorney and being a mom and a wife has been communicating. Communication with my spouse has been key. Many of you know my husband is a full-time physician. He is an attending at an academic hospital here in Southern California. And while his work schedule may appear, on paper to be, doable because he works a week on, a week off, but when he's on, he's really on. And so both of us have very demanding jobs, and we really have to make sure that we're on the same page so that, when he's off, or when he has to pick up an extra shift while he's off, or make an appointment while he's off, I should say, we really have to coordinate that and say, okay, well, who's going to be here with the kids because I have a meeting at that time. So 3 tools that really help us to facilitate communication between us is, of course, having a joint master calendar that's shared between us, and it's attached to our joint email account. So as we're managing our household together, what's been very helpful for us has been sharing an email account. And we made this while we were engaged because we were long distance while we were dating and engaged and trying to plan a wedding long distance together. That was a challenge in and of itself. But having this shared email account allowed us to be on the same page about, appointments and whatever else have you. And then when we got married, it's really helped us in terms of all our bills, all of our notifications, everything like that goes to this shared email account. And what's tied to that is a calendar. And so when we're making appointments for therapy, when we're making appointments for doctor's appointments, stuff for the kids, whatever it is, we plug it into our calendar and we're shared so that if something comes up at work, I can pull up my calendar and say, oh, okay, that meeting time works well for me because I know that Josh is here. That's his off week and he'll be there to pick up Reagan because I won't be able to pick her up from school because I need to have a meeting at this time. Another tool that's been very helpful is our joint grocery list. So there was a time where he'd go to the grocery store and he'd buy bread, not knowing that I just bought bread earlier that day. And so we're thinking that we're being helpful with the other person, and it ended up just, creating some unnecessary expenditures, if you will. So having this joint grocery list is really helpful for us. We use the reminder app in our iPhones, and we just update it, and you can share by just clicking the button that says share, and that way you can add your spouse to that list, and you can see each other updating it in real time. And the same goes for our joint to-do list as well. So as you guys saw in my previous video with regards to what a day in my life looks like as an attorney, I love lists. My husband loves lists too, loves list as well. So it works out really well for us. So we create a separate list from our jobs where it's something that we need to keep on top of together as family. We just keep a joint to-do list in terms of our home and things that need to be taken care of in the home, things that we need to do with our kids, etc. So it really helps us stay on the same page and really keeps each other updated and in the loop when we spend so much time working while also trying to remain very present for both of us as working parents. The second tip that's been tool that's been very helpful is being ruthless with my schedule. I will say this over and over again, schedule. When I was younger, my dad was in the military, and so he was very regimented at home. And so when I got out of the house, went to college, and got to be a young adult, I really felt that, I just really didn't like all the structure. I really didn't like just the regimen. I just felt like it was so boring, so routine. And I really just prefer to just take life as it comes. As I got older though, I felt that that approach really didn't work for me. And my dad had it right the whole time, because I felt like life was just happening to me, and that time was happening to me instead of me managing my time. I just felt like I was always in react mode. Like if a meeting would pop up when I was in law school, like when I was on moot court and I had to go deal with something, I just reacted and dealt with it, and it just threw off everything. I felt like I couldn't really structure my life at home because I was just always like reacting, and really even being like structured with my scheduled time in law school. I really wasn't structured. I just kind of fit everything in and just did things as I could. It was just a big soupy mess of a schedule, if you will. And it was very difficult trying to do that along with raising my baby and then toddler at the time. But now, as we've been in this work from home schedule, I have really come to value having a schedule overall. You know, as I got older, you know, went from law school and into practice, I was really starting to understand, like, Reagan as a child loved schedule. Children love schedules. They love structure. They love routine because it makes them feel very safe and they know what to expect. And now, as I've moved into practice and as I'm in this work from home phase even further, both of my children really love structure, and I love structure as well, and so does my husband. And this is something, honestly, as a side note, I feel like he has brought as a value to my life. Like, he has really just brought a lot of gifts, and that's been one of them, is bringing a lot more structure. And so I am pretty ruthless now with my schedule, and I find that I have a lot more capacity. I find that I steward my time a lot more, because time is a gift. It's not something that I own. It's something that is unloaned to me, and I want to make sure that I'm stewarding it well. And so how does the schedule look like? What does it look like, right? Well, we can break this down between weekly and daily scheduling. So in terms of a weekly schedule, our family understands that from a big picture, there are certain things that are happening every week. So Sunday is a non-negotiable. We're going to church in some fashion, whether it's in person or virtually, we're going to go. And then it's a day of rest, which I will mention later in this video. We understand that Thursdays is date night. It's mommy daddy night, as our children know it. Those are Josh and I's date nights, Thursday nights, and I look forward to them. And I try to do a job. We both really try to do a good job of making sure that those occur. We also have Family Friday Fun Night, which is something the whole family looks forward to. And that's the time that we spend together as a family, really regroup, really let our hair down, and just kind of decompress from the week and continue to work on our family culture. We know that Saturday mornings we clean up. If you grew up in a Black household, you already understand this, and this is something I have carried on as a Black parent, that we will clean up Saturday morning, and then we will go and have fun as a family, because a lot happens during the week and we just want to make sure we're starting off with a clean slate. Amen. Next is our daily schedule. So my kids understand our schedule each day, and it's so ingrained in them, ingrained in everybody, my body, Josh's body, the kids' body, that we're just kind of in our mode, and it really affects us when we're thrown off from, you know, our routine. So generally I wake up about 6:30 because that's when Honor wakes up. I change her and then give her breakfast. About 7 o'clock, Reagan wakes up. She goes and does her morning routine. And then if Honor is still eating or playing or whatever, then Reagan will join her and they will have breakfast together. While they're eating, I will go get cleaned up and get ready for the day. And then it's time to drop Reagan off. Then by the time we come back, I really try to have Honor to bed for her nap time, her morning nap, by 8:45 a.m. because 9 o'clock I'm usually moving into my meetings. About 4 o'clock, no later than 5 usually, I try to log off, make dinner, spend time with the kids. We eat, have our bedtime routine. The kids are in bed by 7 o'clock. That is a non-negotiable. If for some reason our day is off, it could be 7:30, sometimes as late as 8 on rare occasions, but generally it's that 7 to 7:30 window, because honestly, as an aside, I used to feel like if I look forward to my kids going to bed, then I'm not a good mommy. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. It's okay to like love and treasure your kids, but it's okay also to feel like I'm ready for them to go to bed so that I can decompress, so that I can have a rest, so that I can get mentally geared up and ready for the next day with them as well. So bedtime is something that I really look forward to, and putting the kids down so that I can have my moment, right? So having this schedule and being pretty ruthless about it and uncompromising in many ways has been very helpful for us during this work from home time. The third tip that's very helpful is delegating at work and relying on strength at home. So what I mean by this is at work, I manage people and then I'm also managed. So it's delegation that's going on. I may delegate to younger associates. I may delegate to my legal assistant for help or paralegal in a matter. But then at work or at home, I really don't like the idea of delegating things because I'm not managing my husband in that way. So really it's relying on strengths that each other may have. So my husband's really good at finances, so that's something that he can take the lead on because he's good at it. I'm really good with designing the home and making unique and like different meals. So that's something that my husband relies on my strength at home. It's not like you do this, you do this, you do this, like a team captain approach, but we're really like a team working together trying to lead the home. The fourth tip that's really been helpful, the tool that's really been such a lifesaver, is been honoring the Sabbath rest. I've talked about this in a video before, but Sabbath as a Christian is something that not a lot of people prioritize. Sabbath rest has been regarded as kind of like a maybe when I have time. But it's one of the commandments, right? And it's ranked right up there like do not murder. And so we're careful not to murder people, but for some reason we're not careful to rest. And I feel that, if God himself rested, then we should also do the same thing. And so in all the busyness and all the working from home, I really tried to make sure that I honored the Sabbath day by not working, by not responding to emails. I've even put on my calendar at work, like Melonie is on, is taking the Sabbath, so that people understand like I am not available to do work. Now, if something is really, really pressing or an emergency, I do respond, but generally 95% of the time of my time working at my law firm, I have not worked on Sunday, and I really do believe that I'm honoring God in this way. The fifth tool, it relates to this in a way, it's keeping my priorities straight. So my job does not come before my family. Even though I'm working from home, sometimes it can feel like everything's mixed together. Work, children, school, even at one point, like all of it was happening all at once in the home. And so it's really easy to have some blurred lines and not keep boundaries. But I have found that when I keep my boundaries in order, my priorities are preserved in the way that I want them to be. So for example, like I am not, even though I'm working from home, I am not always available. Generally, I will be logging off by 4 or 5. And thankfully, I really haven't had an issue with people trying to push against this boundary. But it's something that I've been very clear to communicate up front and saying, hey, just so you know, I log off at about 4 or 5 so that I can make dinner and put the kids to bed. But I'll be back on this evening about 8 o'clock. In the same way, my children do not come before everything as well, especially as a Black woman. Like, we as Black women are made to feel, and maybe women in general are just made to feel like your children should be your world, and if they are not, you are a bad mother. And I honestly, that just could, I don't agree with that. It couldn't be further from the truth. Our children are not meant to be our everything. God is meant to be our everything. And children are not meant to be our top priority even. We're not in covenant with our children. And it's just something that I really had to work to overcome. But children have to understand and grow up in a household, in my opinion, that doesn't revolve around them. Why? Because if they do, in my opinion, they will get out into the world and, believe that the world should revolve around them because they grew up feeling like the world revolved around them when they were at home. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Doesn't mean that they're not important, but it means that they are a priority, but they're not the top priority, if that makes sense. Jesus is the top priority. And so our children have to learn to bend their knee to Jesus and our home because Jesus is the most preeminent concern in our household. Jesus is everything, my family is everything after Jesus, and then my job comes after that. And keeping that priority has been very helpful as I've been working from home. The last tool that's been super helpful for me has been keeping this team approach. And I kind of alluded to this a little while ago in the third tool, but you know, having this team approach has been very helpful in including everyone and taking ownership at home. So what I mean by this is it's not my sole responsibility to clean the house. It is a group like project, you know, it is everyone's responsibility. Why? Because our family culture is we all clean up together. This is our home. We're all taking ownership here and making it a place that's comfortable and loving and welcoming for everyone. And I do believe that that transfers to others, meaning like when they visit our house, people say, oh, it's peaceful. And I feel like I can relax here. And that's because we all really try to take care and making this home a welcoming place and creating a welcoming atmosphere so we can be hospitable to others. So I hope that these 6 tools were really helpful to you. They certainly have been helpful for me, and in some they have really revolutionized my life. I feel that I can approach life with a lot more clarity. I feel that I can manage all the obligations that I have on my plate by utilizing these 6 tools, and I feel that I'm healthier for it. Even though we're in this time where we're working from home and the Delta variant's going on right now and a lot of things are, you know, up in the air, I can take solace in knowing like, you know what, I'm not reacting to those things. I'm taking steps to create some tools that will help me navigate these turbulent times. So thank you guys. I love you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.